Welcome back to OpenLine. We have with us Senator Jeff Yarbro, Democrat from Davidson County, talking about the legislature. He was just up there before the show. The House has just recently passed its version of the budget. It concurs with the Senate version, so we're moving along. This session is going to be over soon. As we go through some of the bills that have come up in this legislative session, let's talk health care and guns.
Okay.
Let's go with guns first.
All right.
Usually, we've had some very bitter, divisive sort of discussions. I haven't seen as much coverage on that this year, but what was up there this year as far as guns?
I mean, I guess there haven't been quite as many of the gun bills as there have in recent years, and with good reason, because we've passed about 154 gun bills over the last 6 years, which you would think at some point we would have covered this. But you know, I think one bill that is still showing signs of life and might make its way through is a bill that would create a new type of carry permit where people could just take a class online without ever holding a weapon, ever having to do a live fire test and be issued a license to carry, which strikes me as somewhat reckless. But I think that's the one proposal that I've heard is still kicking around.
So that could be passed in the next couple days.
That could still come up in the next couple of days.
Okay. All right, let's go to Raymond. Hello, Raymond.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just thought if they want more people to vote, which I do too, I think more people should vote. I noticed where Bernie Sanders was going to support prisoners voting. And I think just because somebody's put in jail doesn't mean they should lose their rights to vote. They're American citizens regardless of whether they're in jail or not. And if you want to allow more people to vote and to have a say in the election, allow the prisoners to vote, especially the ones that have paid the price and served their time. There's no use reducing them from the voting records and stuff. And have the voting on a weekend instead of a middle of a week. If you're going to have an election, hold it on a Sunday or Saturday or something and allow people to vote. More people would vote then. Allow people to vote with their driver's license rather than having to fill out a bunch of personal information and leave it up there and who knows who gets it or what. A lot of the information they ask for is none of their business. Social Security number is none of their business. It's whether you live in a certain area or not. Your address is the main thing they should be concerned with. And as dangerous as it is giving out your Social Security numbers and people getting them and using them again, to me, that shouldn't even be on the election.
All right, well, let's talk about that. All right, Raymond, well, let's talk about all that. All right, that Social Security, that came up when we were talking about this voter registration bill. That is something that's asked on that card. You do have to fill it out. What do you think of what he's saying there?
Well, I mean, there's two parts to what he's saying, and I'll take the second part first, because Raymond is 100% correct that there are lots of things that we could do to make registering to vote easier and voting easier. And all the evidence shows that if we took those steps, that more people would vote. You can set up a system so that everyone who signs up for a driver's license in your state is automatically registered to vote. And when you change your driver's license, it changes your registration, so you don't have to send forms to multiple government bureaucracies, which I think makes a lot of sense. Lots of states have done it, and they've shown that it really increases both the number of people who are registered and the number of people who show up. I think creating making Election Day a holiday or creating other ways so that people can conveniently do it can also have an effect. There are lots of states that allow you to mail in your ballot or at least do an absentee ballot by mail if you want to. The other question that Raymond asked dealt with felons and
this
those
is what Bernie
currently
Sanders was
serving.
Talking about. Yeah.
I mean, I think in Tennessee we've got first things first. I think that the people who are currently serving is a really an entirely different issue to put to one side. Tennessee has one of the highest rates for people who have already served their time, completed their sentence, paid their debts to society, who are still not allowed to vote. And we've made it way too hard for people to have their voting rights restored. And so those people are trying to reintegrate into their community, and we've made it harder for them to do it. And that's a place that we're starting to see some movement in the legislature, but not near enough. And I think that is something that where we should find agreement and start moving forward.
Do you think we should do what Bernie Sanders said?
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, I think that's and I appreciate it. I'm happy to listen to other points of view. I don't think that I would go that far. I do think that once someone has paid their debts to society, they should have their voting rights restored.
Let's go to Marty. Hello, Marty. Marty, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Marty.
Okay, good. I got a question for the guest to comment on House Bill 0623. It's regarding law enforcement with 25 years of service to be able to retire under Tennessee consolidated retirement, let's say.
So
and see where that bill is actually at in committee at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I apologize. I'm not sure if I know where that bill is right now. I mean, I do think that one of the things that we've been trying to do a couple different ways this assembly is to look at our first responders, our police officers, firefighters, and make sure that our retirement system and the healthcare system is actually beneficial to them, and that these people who are putting their lives on the line to keep us safe are at least being taken care of after they've put in that time. I can't comment, especially on that particular bill right now. I voted on about 75 pieces of legislation today, and so that one is not one that's in the old ticker at the moment.
If it's in, and we have to go to break in a moment, but if it's in committee, does it have a chance of passing at this point? Because you're so close to wrapping everything up.
I mean, it's possible that it's possible that it's already advanced, and it just didn't come through a committee that I'm looking at, or that it's on a calendar for tomorrow. But I can't answer that specific one.
So
today.
Marty, I mean, be on the watch, because it'll happen in the next couple days if it's going to happen. If not, go back up next year and just start pushing for it.
But please continue to push if we haven't done it right.
All right, we'll take a break. Be back right after this.